I have now read all the Twilight books. There is so much to discuss right now. If you have not read them all, you should leave. Go read them and come back and discuss. Breaking Dawn starts off right where Eclipse left off. Edward and Bella are planning to get married. I love the before and after cars. The one before is this car that hasn't even come out yet, and it's bulletproof, it's tank proof because Bella's still human. Jacob is missing. Charlie's reaction to the marriage news is hilarious. You have to tell your mom. But then her mom's pretty chill about it. And Charlie was like banking on her being angry to kind of like make Bella not get married. But Renee is kind of insightful and she's like, Bella, you have an old soul and so does Edward. And she doesn't really know, but like she understands that they're like good together. Bella is super nervous about the wedding. The wedding is coming and like I'm nervous for her. She's so freaked out. But then when she sees him at the end of the aisle, everything's okay and it's so cute. I like that they changed the end of the vows. Instead of saying till death do us part, they said as long as we both shall live. It's pretty appropriate. Jacob came to the wedding and he wanted to dance with Bella. But she tells Jacob that she's gonna have like a normal honeymoon with Edward. And Jacob freaks out because Bella has like a really good chance of dying because Edward could like destroy her. I felt so bad for like both of them because why did Bella have to bring it up? Like why? I love Emmett. You're monopolizing the bride. Let me dance with my little sister. This could be my last chance to make her blush. So cute. Emmett's just hilarious. When they're leaving to go on the honeymoon and you hear Jacob howling in the background because he like thinks Bella's gonna go die. Hurt my heart. Esme. Can we talk about for a moment that Carlisle got Esme an island as a gift? Bella is staying human for her honeymoon, but the next morning when she like wakes up with the bruises and Edward like puts his hands along where the bruises were and he feels like so guilty. That was really sad because he's so beat up by it. Bella she did not even realize she was covered in bruises. She tells Edward they just need practice. Oh my gosh. Bella gets pregnant. Oh, I had recalled this, like seeing trailers and stuff, that she was going to get pregnant. I didn't know it was going to be happening so early on. The pregnancy is sped up, like she can already see it so quickly. Edward, that moment when he's just like a statue and Bella's calling Carlisle like, can vampires go into shock? And there's a strong chance that whatever Bella is pregnant with is going to end up killing her. So they were going to go home to have Carlisle look at it and probably end up killing it. So Bella calls Rosalie, the only person who's going to protect what she wants at this point, to have the baby. When she just calls and she's like, Rosalie, I need your help. And you know that Rosalie's going to be there because Rosalie wants a baby. That's something Rosalie hates about being a vampire, is she is physically frozen so she can't have kids. And that's when we hit the Jacob section. The Jacob section was interesting, but when I first saw that we switched from Jacob's point of view, I was like, well, maybe there's like an Edward section. And there wasn't. The wolves won't attack Bella even if she is bitten, which is great. I was worried we were gonna have a war on our hands over this. Jacob sees how pregnant Bella is, sees how broken Edward is over it. He has this line where he's saying like, I wanted to fight Edward, I didn't want an execution. He's so mad at Edward, but like seeing him broken like this, he can't possibly just like kill him. Edward is so torn up. It like hurt to watch. Edward tells Jacob that Bella is willing to die to have the baby. And Jacob's just like, ugh, that's so Bella. And Edward is desperate. He wants Jacob to convince Bella to not have the baby, but she could have Jacob's children. He said, like, I'm okay with this, even if it means she's gonna have puppies, meaning like werewolves. When we're reading from Bella's point of view, all of the titles are one word and they feel kind of poetic for the chapters. I love the chapter titles for Jacob. Why didn't I just walk away? Oh right, because I'm an idiot. Now that there's this baby in the equation, a baby that could be very dangerous, the wolf pack is planning to kill Bella, kill the baby, and kill the Cullens if they have to. And I got really nervous because Alice's way of fighting is to see the future and she can't see the werewolves. I was really worried at this point that Alice was going to be like one of the ones to die. I was still really convinced that the werewolves and the Cullens were going to get in a fight. Jacob, in response to the possible killing of Bella, accepts his alphaness, kind of becomes his own pack. He goes rogue. But then Seth follows him. He's like, let's be a pack of two. And Jacob keeps saying, we're not a pack, we're not a pack. And Seth's like, why can I hear your thoughts if we're not a pack? Jacob goes to the Cullens, trying to contact Edward with his mind. Bloodsucker, are you there? Circle the wagons. Leah joins Jacob's pack. Leah is so annoying. I understood her later when she was talking about, like, I don't want to be the pathetic ex-girlfriend in Sam's pack. They can also hear my thoughts. This is awful. And Jacob kind of comes to an understanding and friendship with her. But when she first joined, I was like, ugh, why? The baby is sucking all the life out of Bella because it's not getting what it wants, and it wants blood. The best way for them to test this theory that the baby wants blood is for Bella to drink blood while she's still human. That's when it got just like a little weird. I understand that the baby is part vampire, but her drinking it and saying that it tasted good, like drinking human blood. I know that Bella's like born to be a vampire. This is her destiny, but like at the same time, that's disgusting. The old pack meets up with Jacob and there's still two separate packs. They want Jacob back, but he's not willing to do that while Bella's still in danger. Edward talking to Jacob saying like, you know, our home is your home even though it kind of smells like vampires, and Esme is just, when she heard that Jacob and Seth were basically homeless, they couldn't go back to La Push, she just like completely wanted them there. They were like a little family. Jacob needs to sleep. I was so nervous that he was like not going to be able to fight off the other wolf pack because he just wasn't sleeping. And it shows like how hard it kind of was to be an alpha even of this small tribe. He has just so much on his plate right now, trying to protect Bella, protect his pack, and running this perimeter all the time. It was exhausting to read. I did feel really bad for Jacob because whenever Jacob comes in the room, Bella just lights up, and we figure out why that is later, but I felt so bad for Jacob in that moment because he's like, this is killing me to see her so happy to see me, and like, I'm not with her. The jokes between Rosalie and Jacob were so funny. How do you kill a blonde? Put a mirror at the bottom of a lake and watch them drown. What do you call a blonde with a brain? A golden retriever. Rosalie's like, I've heard all of these aren't funny, and she's giving Jacob something to eat. She bends the bowl and like carves Fido into it. Their back and forth I loved. And may I say that I called it. I knew Jacob was gonna imprint on her child. At this point he kept saying there was like a gravitational force. What else does a werewolf have a gravitational force towards if it's not their imprinted person? I sent a Snapchat to my friend when I figured it out because I knew I was right. Megan, okay, don't tell me, but like tell me. Jacob imprints on Bella's daughter. Did I just figure it out? I love being right. Then we learn that the baby's going to escape the womb with its teeth. WTF. At this point in the book, I think that Bella's having a werewolf baby. Because it makes sense. We know Jacob's gonna imprint on it. Vampires have 24 chromosomes. Humans have 22. Werewolves have 23. Just, it made sense. So vampire plus human equals werewolf? But no, false alarm, we didn't figure out how to make werewolves. I love the first time Edward heard the baby, like hear the baby's thoughts. Did you say something? He's like, oh my gosh, I can hear our child. And this is when Jacob's like, I've lost him. I have nobody else left on my side. This baby is getting born and Bella's probably gonna die. Meanwhile, we do make some progress because the baby is so smart. It's trying not to hurt Bella, like trying not to move, trying to be so careful because it loves Bella and realizes that, you know, they're causing pain. As Ephraim's heir, Jacob is the only one who can give Edward permission to bite Bella and the treaty remain intact. And he gives that permission because they know, like, this is the only way Bella and the baby are gonna make it through, as if, like, right at the correct moment, they change Bella into a vampire. That moment when Bella trips and screams and just vomits blood really freaks us out. She like has to have this baby. Carlisle of course is gone. Rosalie almost drinks Bella's blood when they're like trying to get the baby out, and Rosalie just kind of loses it for a second. And so Jacob has to stop Rosalie, and in the process they destroy the phone, so there's no access to Carlisle, our doctor. Bella dies for like just a minute, Jacob is like pumping her heart and Edward's putting in the venom. Shortly after this scene, Jacob imprints on Renesmee. Bella is transforming and she's trying not to scream, like she's just stuck. And everyone thinks she might be like really dead because she's trying to like hold it in and not show how much pain she's in, which is something she always does. But they were like really worried like it wasn't working. When Bella wakes up and she has like her super senses and like sees Edward for the first time and she like realizes like I never really saw the full beauty of him. I was like, oh. And then she like needs to go hunting, but Alice makes her look in the mirror first. She's like, I need to see what she looks like when she looks at herself. She's wondering why Jacob's still there. I loved her going hunting for the first time because when she like smells the human and she's like in hunting mode, but she like can stop herself and she holds her breath and runs away. And she acts like she's like a decades old vampire instead of hours old. She comes back from hunting. Jacob is like the tester to see if Bella can like be around a human without eating them. Jacob would rather die than Renesmee. I love how Edward is like overprotective. He's like mad at Jacob for imprinting on his daughter. I think he might understand Charlie a little bit better now. I loved seeing Bella and Renesmee together. I thought it was so funny when Bella was so mad at Jacob for imprinting on her daughter. I love that scene from the movie. It's so funny. She just like grabs him by the ear and like yanks him away. She tries to rip Jacob's head off when he calls Renesmee Nessie. You named my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster. But it's good because now nobody can destroy Renesmee. No werewolf can do that because Jacob's imprinted on her. That's like their number one thing. You can't destroy the person somebody else has imprinted on. Bella finds out that her superpower is restraint. She's actually a shield. I was kind of confused at that point. I was like, that's not really a cool superpower. I love how Jacob kinda told Charlie. He couldn't tell about the vampires, but he like showed him himself as a werewolf, and Charlie took it like a champ. Charlie comes over to the Cullen house. I was so mad at Jacob for doing that because he's the one who invited him over, and they're like, don't you understand, this will be like killing Bella, because either she's going to eat him and that's going to kill her emotionally, or she's going to be in so much pain trying not to kill Charlie. Charlie says he still loves Bella, like no matter what. He knows that she's different. He meets Renesmee and loves her so much. It's so cute. And Volturi want to see Bella, and Bella has to go alone to Italy because oh, the book fell. Volturi want to see Bella. They want to know that she's a vampire. And she has to go by herself to Italy because they have to hide Renesmee from them. If Edward were to go, they would see Renesmee in his mind. Arrow would want her as part of his Volturi people. But we're too late because Irina is there. She sees Renesmee, thinks she's an immortal child, goes and tells the Volturi, and now they're on their way to kill the entire Cullen clan. Except for Alice, because Arrow wants Alice as part of his group. So now the Cullens are going to go ask every other vampire they can find to witness that this is not an immortal child. As long as they have just enough people to stop the Volturi from immediately killing them, then they can get them to listen and they can explain. And Alice and Jasper left. I knew like Alice couldn't have left because of fear. That's not who she is. Meanwhile, all the vampires are meeting Renesmee and loving her. They do the thing, they can see who she is, what actually happened, and they're all bent on protecting her. We figure out that Bella's power is actually a shield, and Bella is trying to learn how to project this, which was kind of really cool to watch. Alice has left Bella a clue in one of her books, like a really sketchy address to go to, and it leads to this guy who can get fake papers. Bella gets papers for Jacob and Renesmee to be able to like fly and escape, fake passports, all that, in case the Volturi do attack, and she's gonna have Renesmee just run away with Jacob. The last name on it was Wolf. Funny. I can't believe I didn't catch. Renesmee's power works on Bella. She can be in her mind. Edward says like, I noticed the first time that happened, and Bella hadn't thought about it for a while, and it just seems so natural that I didn't think about it. But it is weird. But it's because she can do the opposite of both of her parents. Edward can take thoughts and Renesmee can give them. Bella can shield and Renesmee can break shields. The Volturi arrive. Sarah talks to Edward, wants to meet Renesmee. We learn that the werewolves aren't actually werewolves. They're just shapeshifters that can turn into wolves. That was interesting. When Edward has put Renesmee on Jacob and like they're about to run, he says goodbye, Jacob. My brother, my son. Oh, all the feels, all the feels. Alice shows up and she's brought Noel, I don't know how to say his name, another person is just like Renesmee, this half vampire, half human, and shows that like they stop aging at a certain point, just like the same with vampires, and werewolves, they just like stop aging, and that he's lived for 150 years. We were worried that Renesmee was going to grow so quickly and only be there for a couple years because she'd just grow old and die, but she just kind of stops and she'll be able to be with her fam forever. I'm so happy. And Jacob also has an extended lifetime, so it's just going to be great, just so great. And Arrow has been listening, which is great because now he's convinced, and he's convinced everyone else, like, there's no need to attack here, even though one of his brothers was crazy and just didn't care and just wanted to kill people. But Arrow, as creepy and kind of evil as he is, he does kind of reason with them, and I was so happy that we were not gonna fight them. And Alice is just a genius for having constructed all this. I love her character. I loved the ending where Bella, now that she's learned that she has this shield and she can kind of push it off herself, she can let Edward into her thoughts. They're just so cute and they get to be together forever. I'm so happy. 5 out of 5 stars. I really loved the ending. I was so happy we didn't have to fight. When I had seen a clip of Breaking Dawn before I watched the movie, and it was of them fighting, and this doesn't happen in the book. I was so confused. And thank goodness it was just Alice's vision, but can we talk about how long that fight scene in the movie is though? Like a 10-minute fight scene that doesn't even actually happen. We had to watch a lot of our characters die. I was not happy. I need to read Life and Death. I haven't read it yet. I'm excited. My name is Caitlin. Thanks for watching. Bye!